It's August 2022. It begins. LCQ Studios get things moving. Motocross Chasing the Dream releases on Steam as an early access game, and the hype to finally have a new motocross game that would involve a proper career mode allowing you to advance from an amateur all the way up to the pro ranks was, quite frankly, indescribable. You see, the motocross gaming community had been let down time and time again. The search for a top-tier arcade motocross game had seemed hopeless up until this point. After all, it had been 11 years since the majority of gamers had enjoyed a game in MX vs ATV Alive, and if you want to be extra picky, it had been 13 years if you wanted to go all the way back and say MX vs ATV Reflex. Motocross Chasing the Dream was meant to be LCQ Studios' forever game. Similar to those familiar with JLV's MX Simulator or Poboso's MX Bikes, this was a game that they could work on for years, their passion project, their dream game, constantly improving it, adding to it, refining it, making it the best it could possibly be for the very excited motocross community. October 2022 rolls around just a couple months after the initial game release on Steam. One of the design directors from Turborilla, a studio well known for their success in the world of mobile gaming with its popular series of Mad Skills motocross games, they reach out to LCQ Studios, explaining how they were looking to make a similar game, and since the solid base had already been created by LCQ, they wanted to partner up. The LCQ team took some time to ponder over the partnership, wondering if it was the right decision, and in the end, all of the pros of working with a big studio like Turborilla far outweighed any cons involved. With this partnership, they could work on the game full time, they could massively improve their development times, plus they get the additional bonus of working with a company whose games they had already played for years as fans of motocross games in general. So it was decided. December 2022, the work began on Mad Skills Motocross Chasing the Dream. They started grinding, putting hours and hours of work, putting together what is known as a vertical slice. For those of you that are non-game content creators, like myself, this would be a demo version of the game with a handful of racetracks just to get an idea of what the full game could potentially be. And in March of 2023, LCQ Studios and Turborilla take their slice, hop on a plane, fly out to San Francisco, California with one goal in mind: get to the Game Developers Conference that is held only once a year and find some backing. The original estimated budget for the game was around $2 million, which sounds like a lot at first, but when you break it down, this would cover all of the game's development costs, the LCQ team's salaries, a couple of the Turborilla guys' salaries as well, in addition to any other sorts of costs involved in the game's development process for an entire 2 years. The pitches at GDC seemed to go well. They had some interest in the project by multiple publishers, and by summer of 2023, they were deep into talks with one of the big dogs in the scene as well. Everything seemed to be going fine. They were at the very end of negotiations, and then at the very last minute, the big publisher pulled out. This was of course a huge setback to the team and both studios alike. That, however, wasn't the end of the road for Mad Skills Motocross Chasing the Dream. The team regrouped and they set about making a new game plan. They cut the budget down from the original $2 million to $500,000 for just 1 year instead of the original 2 years. The issue, however, is when you have publishers involved in a project, they can call the shots. The publisher wanted multiplayer, not the career-focused game that was originally dreamt of. That seems to be the nature of video games these days. Story games seem to be a dying breed. Multiplayer games and battle passes rule the world, so to please the publisher, that's exactly what they did. From September of 2023 all the way through to April of 2024, basically half a year, nothing but multiplayer was developed for the game. They returned back to GDC in 2024, where they were able to acquire some new leads. The same publisher that had backed out the previous year in 2023 had become interested in the project again. There was one major issue though. From the consumer's perspective, that is people like you and I, the people that the game was originally meant to be made for in the first place, everything had gone quiet. The last game update was on the original Chasing the Dream Steam release back in October of 2022 with a Halloween update, which, whilst being incredibly entertaining, it boasted a new map, a couple of little fun game modes in there, things you could collect. You could unlock a new helmet, for example. It really only kept people interested for so long. The issue that the teams were having is that the meetings with publishers, the development of strictly multiplayer, even the original partnership with Turborilla, were not things that could be communicated to the community. So with what appeared to the community as a lack of commitment or even an abandonment of the project, the excitement for the game just fizzled out of existence. The worst part is that LCQ Studios knew this as well. They could see it was happening before their eyes, and they just wanted to get back to doing their own thing, wondering if this had all just been a massive mistake from the beginning, just trying to please higher ups and not create their vision, their forever game that they wanted to make, their dream game. And that does bring us to today. In January of 2025, the time of me writing this script, Mad Skills Motocross, Chasing the Dream, is no longer in development. Only a trusted handful of people were ever able to test the early alpha builds in the first place, yours truly being one of them. The gameplay that you've been seeing in the background of this video is of that game that has never existed and never will. The gaming industry seems to be a cruel mistress that is currently not in the best place. The money from COVID's drying up, publishers are being picky with who they sign, and the expectations from those publishers onto the developers seem to be getting stricter and stricter as well. One thing, however, is for certain. LCQ Studios are still chasing their dream. That's right, it's not over. Whilst Mad Skills Motocross, Chasing the Dream will fade into the depths of the internet, the original dream, Chasing the Dream, is coming back and under a new name. It's currently being worked on, and if you'd like to see updates on its development, then I'll link the LCQ Studios Instagram page down in the description of this video, where they have been posting snippets over the last few months of things that they're working on, and it looks very, very promising. I have been told there are no harsh feelings between LCQ and Turborilla. Sometimes things just don't go as planned. New experiences were had, lasting relationships were made, and lunches are still enjoyed together to this very day. A massive thank you to Hodge from the LCQ team for providing me with the information found within this video. He also wanted me to mention that if you were one of the early backers of Chasing the Dream and purchased it on Steam, then you'll be getting the new game for free upon its release as a thank you. Information on how to redeem that will come at a later date, so stay tuned for some more information. And I also wanted to thank every single one of you for watching this video. Please feel free to leave any feedback in the comments down below. It's the first documentary style of video that I have made on the channel, and I actually had a lot of fun doing it. There's something so different and exciting about sitting down and writing a script rather than just freeballing it once I press the record button. If you did enjoy this, please do drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new for future content. I really will appreciate it. And just remember, never stop chasing your dreams.